Hi Pisces, welcome to your October 2020 Astro Transits update. It's Rena here. And so let's just go down the line. We have an interesting month, to say the least. Mercury retrograde in the middle of the month and 2 full moons within the month of October. The first and last days, and so we're talking about a blue moon on Halloween, which is pretty cool. So on the very first day of the month, we have a full moon at 9 degrees of Aries, and this for you is your second house of earned income. And this can mean that you are getting a boost to your income. You may be getting a raise. You may have been working for something that's coming to fruition in terms of the money that you earn. For some people, this can be some kind of a retirement where you're retiring from earning money in a specific way. Maybe you're going to get, a pension or Social Security in a different way, but you're ending it in one way. This can be finding out something about your finances or your self-esteem. That's the second house as well. And I just wanted to note that the sun until the 22nd, when it's in Libra, is in the 8th house. And so that is very interesting because the 8th house is a water house. It's Scorpio's house, and you have it in Libra. And what that means is that it can really make you focus on your underlying issues in life, psychological or specifically with the psychology, the shadow work, the parts of yourself that you don't want to deal with, whether it's past trauma or issues that are concerned with, feelings that are uncomfortable that you don't like to kind of believe belong to you. Pisces is really such a kind-hearted sign, and even though I know a Pisces that I used to think, wow, they're pretty much, they weren't all sweetness and light on the surface at least, but probably deep down they had that part of themselves, and tolerant, just accepting people as they are, sympathetic, but lurking beneath all of that may be resentment, envy, rage, all these emotions that none of us want to even acknowledge. Well, maybe Aries people, they're like they own their anger proudly. They wear it like a badge, right? So, but the fact that the sun is there means that you're framing it in a positive, like can-do context. So it's not just like, oh, wow, if the moon was there, it might be much more overwhelming. And I think the sun being there, it's kind of constructive. It's like, okay, how can I best deal with this? And something about your self-esteem, understanding about your self-esteem issues, if you have them. On the second, Venus goes into Virgo, and Virgo is your opposite sign. So we're looking at Venus in that opposite house, the 7th house. That can be good for money coming from legal affairs. It can be good for marital harmony, marital meaning any kind of committed partnership, for just if you have clients, making money from your clients, could be something along those lines. Maybe art appreciation, because this is Venus's house, and Venus is going into that house. On the 4th, Pluto goes direct at 22 degrees of Capricorn. Pluto has been in your 11th house of hopes and wishes. And so some Pisces people may, especially if you're middle-aged or even older, may be feeling like it's now or never. I have to experience this dream of mine. Something on your bucket list. I don't like that term bucket list. But, just using that because that's what people understand. The 11th house are long range goals, and this can indicate some kind of your dreams that you have been wanting to make happen. With Pluto, it's like feeling that almost like an obsession with having them come true because, well, there might be different reasons depending on who you are and why it's so important to you. But this is an area that has a lot of stuff happening. You have Saturn having retrograded back into this house. You have Jupiter in this house. And so friends, group associations, this is really featured for you. And Pluto is a planet that can relate to the underworld, so to speak. So when you have, well, it's funny, that's one possibility, but also people in high places. So sometimes people in high places are also part of the underworld, though, let's face it. And the 8th house is conspiracy theories, so there you go. But I'm talking about the 11th house with friendships and groups. So I would imagine that there are some Pisces individuals, and especially if you have inner planets in Aquarius, which you probably do, like Mars, for instance, in Aquarius. If you have these placements, you may be involved in activism. Pisces does feel great sympathy towards others, and with the Aquarian angle, the 11th house can be activism. But when Pluto is there as a transit, you have to be careful about it because Pluto can indicate undercover, mysterious situations going on. So what I have been saying to people is that if they have this transit in their 11th house, they need to, if they belong to a political organization, they have to be, can't be naive because these groups get infiltrated. Make sure that your group is not infiltrated by people who are in, like the deep state could be Pluto, in this area of, I don't know if that would be the 11th or the 10th house, something with government. I don't know what house is specifically connected to government, but anything that has to do with any kind of cause that you're involved with, understand that sometimes they do infiltrate the groups, and they're doing it for this motive of power. Pluto can be power, but sometimes the obsession for power, which Pluto is also about obsession, can lead to doing things in underhanded ways. And it can cause the person to be caught up in something that they have no idea that they're caught up in. So you and others may be legitimately concerned about a particular issue and are being manipulated. And Pluto to me can also be about manipulation. So I'm not saying that this is happening. I'm saying be careful when Pluto's in your 11th house of the people that you associate with. Some of them could be of the criminal element, or somehow in some kind of dark, nefarious ways that they are not kind of in the light, so to speak, and above board. So that might be, when Pluto is retrograde, you might have even been seeing some of this coming out, that it was revealed what they were up to. And now you are kind of like adjusting that. Because when Pluto's in the 11th house, your obsession for these issues, reaches a peak. And with Saturn, there's even a desire to create some kind of foundation. So with that combination, I could see somebody who's obsessed about like a utopian, village or something, eco village, or, something where it involves the collective, but with a utopian ideal. And because Neptune is transiting your own sign and has been for years now, you may be even more idealistic than normal, Pisces. So that has its, positive sides and its challenging sides. Now that Pluto is direct, you may be able to attract people in positions of authority that are really in you, can affect your life, I think, positively, because you've had wonderful transits like Saturn and Jupiter in your 10th house of career in recent years. And that may have really boosted your kind of status in society, and you're kind of rubbing shoulders with very powerful people or groups of people. And this may be more of that when Pluto goes direct in your daily life, impacting that. On the 13th, we have a Mercury retrograde at 11 degrees of Scorpio. This is going to fall in your 9th house of the higher mind, academia, long distance travel. If you, this might be kind of searching your soul, so to speak, or, about your belief system. Maybe you've had a change of heart for some reason. And we do tend to revise our philosophy of life as we go along. I almost think that is required, that if you just stay on the same track, that it's a proof of not growing and kind of staying stagnant. But in any case, this can also be some kind of snafu as it relates to your college situation. So if you have been trying to get into college and haven't been able to, and now thinking about it, with these, let's see here, with 8th house matters, that can even be like student loans or something like that. So maybe there's some kind of a problem where you thought you were registered and you're not, or something along those lines that happens. So you might have to check that. Also, Mercury retrograde in the 9th house can be travel plans, passport issues that go awry. Mercury can be travel. And especially passports, contracts, things that, documents, official documents. So those kinds of things may delay a trip. But Mercury goes direct on November 3rd, so it's all good. And there's a new moon in Scorpio in mid-November. So within a month's time, I think everything should get sorted out. On the 16th, we have a new moon at 23 degrees of Libra. And this falls in your 8th house again. That's what I was talking about. So new beginnings as it relates to metaphysics, your belief system. No, not your belief system. That's 9th house, but maybe new types of occult material that you are consuming, like astrology. Maybe you're taking a new astrology course. Also, this can be the phoenix rising from the ashes. This is the house of kind of a rebirth. So a rebirth of sorts. On the 22nd, the sun goes into Scorpio. And that is water. So again, we're talking about that 9th house. And the 9th house, too, is in general, is about expansion. It's Sagittarius' house, so it's very positive. You'll probably be feeling very optimistic right now. And on the 31st, the full blue moon is at 8 degrees of Taurus, and it's forming an exact conjunction with Uranus. So that's pretty awesome. Or it's going to be very freaky. Maybe, full moons can be freaky as it is, but with Uranus, whoa, it's going to bring out the interesting people. And for you, Taurus is your third house, so this is in the house of the mind, but also, like maybe you're finishing a training course or some kind of teaching assignment, especially, for lower grades or tutoring. It could be completing a writing project. What else? It's your siblings, so, and even they said aunts and uncles, cousins, I believe, but specifically I would focus on brothers and sisters. It might, in some cases, it might be a break from them or one of them because of if you've had past problems and then suddenly you're just like, I'm done. And you realize that they have been a big source of the problem. Because when you have the sun, you've got the sun in the 8th house, there might be some kind, in the opposite sign of Scorpio, there might be some kind of you're dealing with a will or something like that. And then you realize that one of your siblings is trying to get all the money or whatever. And that makes you just like say, okay, I'm done. And you kind of like think back to all those times when that person did you wrong before. The third house is like I said, your mind. It can be a spiritual download, and this can kind of give you that sense of where your direction is going to be, where your attention needs to be in the future, your consciousness, where it needs to be directed in the future. So it can give you new ideas about what you want to do. So in any case, that's what I have for you, Pisces. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, the link is below and you can find out more information. Take care. Bye.